crazy enough, last night I was speaking about you. I was talking about the importance of receiving just as much as giving. And I had talked to them about what you had told me about, how sometimes some people's energy throws you off. You don't really like someone because you don't feel their energy, but that you actually took a step back from someone that probably didn't mesh with you. And you took a step back and you're like, why is it bothering me? And Susie and them were like, whoa, like Ade's doing that work. Rain down, Lord, please, let your love fall and rain, just rain, Lord, please.
Perfect. We're back. Episode 3.
Okay, tell me.
Put it to the side.
I don't know what babe. I'm just trying to make sure nothing's.
Put it to the side over there.
I'm putting it right here where it looks like it's coming out of these wires.
Okay. Episode 3.
Here we go.
Here we go again.
3's a charm.
Third time is a charm.
Yeah. 3, third.
Okay.
Tomato. Again, a reflection on how we communicate.
This is how we communicate. It works for us.
It does.
All right. Perfect. So, since our last time that we recorded, it's been 11 years.
Oh, our anniversary.
Our anniversary has happened.
Yes.
The kids are back in school now.
Oh my God. Thank God.
What else? We've been to Tulsa.
We finished our road tour, our 10 Toes Down on tour.
We ain't finished. I still got some more to go.
Oh, okay. Well, we're midway.
I just got it. Has to work for our schedule. So it's quite a bit has happened.
So you're doing your check. This is your check-in.
What's your check-in?
Well,
one word.
Oh my God, just cut me off. My one word check-in for me today is gratitude. I feel so loved by our community. I had an event last night and just made me fill my heart and my cup with love. And I woke up feeling so refreshed and grateful. What about you?
My word is abundant. I feel abundant. Just sitting in space lately, I've been feeling more abundant on the things that are around me. And so when I work out, when I wake up in the morning, after I meditate, walk outside, look around, it's a great feeling. And and I have this urge to grow. So I feel abundant, but I have an urge to grow. I was just explaining to this young lady after class that I look at myself as a growth company. So so that's my check-in. I could keep going through there.
You can. You're long-winded in your explanation.
Oh man,
I love that. I know it takes you a long time because you really want to be thorough with your words and your explanation. And for me, I'm like, one word, you get it or you don't. And it's so funny because we operate in that same way. I'm like, don't explain that to anyone. Like, let them figure it out. If it goes over their head, it's okay. But I know you're just such a mindful person where you want to explain and over-explain just to make sure that people get what your intention is. So I love that. And I think that I've actually seen your energy change. When you said that you were abundant and you felt abundant, when you look at me, you're like, whoa, you see a growth or a shift in just my personality, not necessarily just personality, but even in my mindset, just the way that I'm moving. And it's beautiful to watch. And crazy enough, last night I was speaking about you. I was talking about the importance of receiving just as much as giving. And I had talked to them about what you had told me about, how sometimes some people's energy throws you off. You don't really like someone because you don't feel their energy, but that you actually took a step back from someone that probably didn't mesh with you. And you took a step back and you're like, why is it bothering me? And Susie and them were like, whoa, like Ade's doing that work. And I said, yeah, I've always wanted that because I've always been trying to be that person after reading and really studying on how to just become a little more aware and conscious, right? Thanks to Joe Dispenza and Jay Shetty. but you're doing it. And why? And I think it's because you're meditating in that. There's a shift that's happening with you, and I love to see that. Do you
Um,
feel like that?
I do feel that there is a shift, and I shift every 5 to 7 years. I've noticed that about
Mm.
myself. And so, is it maturity? Is it me getting older? Um, I think it's more of, you know, becoming more aware.
But what's driving that?
I believe what's driving that is that growth perspective. It's a growth perspective there. So, ooh, I can grow into that. It's just
I think it's becoming more fun to do it now.
it
Like
is. I love it. You know,
you're okay being uncomfortable
right.
because you know it's growth.
And I'm gonna take it back to something real small, minute. Is when we paid for the website, and they could not do it right or to our liking, and it was taking a long time. It was frustrating to me. So I was like, I'm gonna go learn that. And so, that was a growth, you know, aspect of me. And I believe now when I hear about meditation or higher self, yoga has given me the ability to say, or not say, third person myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to sit back and be like, ooh, I'm gonna slap the No, you're not. Now, and I can see myself from afar, and the reaction before, when I believe that reaction, I'm gonna say this is where the maturity come in at. When I was young, I'll just, you know,
Right.
react. But then taking that deep breath, and also third person the situation, now I'm in a higher environment.
I love that for you.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to use
It's
my words
actually
to
no,
explain that.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm going to try to explain it to the audience and that's listening. To be a witness to that, it's like you are now elevating to where your mindset is operating from your higher self, right? So you now are looking down like a bird's eye view and watching what your physical self is doing in this realm, your thoughts, your ego, your decisions, and you're monitoring that in a way you're like, is that really me? Am I operating from self, or am I operating from ego and trauma, whatever?
Right.
And I can say there's an amazing book that talks about this, and it's one of my all-time top 5 books. It's called Untethered Soul, and it's saying that we operate the seat of the soul, and it's when you take that away, you take yourself out of it, that mind that you thought it was you, but it's not really you, right? And that's what you're doing. I think that's
Right.
amazing.
And that's that third person aspect. And if we all do that, then you'll start to see what others see, and you really can pick yourself apart. Ooh, that was me. When you're growing on yourself or growing with self, ooh, that was me. Ooh, I messed that up. That wasn't their fault. So now you're turning
Inward.
inward, and now we go in to forgive ourselves. So then that's where you go from there.
Yeah.
Now, because if you hold on to that, then you're not going to grow. But if we learn how to forgive ourselves within whatever
Yeah.
situation, so that's, I think that's a little
That's your
bit
era. You're in that
I'm
era
in
right
that
now.
era.
I love it. So Joe Dispenza, Lewis Howes. What else are you listening to right now that's been sort of transforming your mindset?
I went back to Les Brown.
Oh, nice. Okay. Good old Les Brown. We started with Eric Thomas and Les Brown.
I personally started with Les Brown, and then from Les Brown I went to, um, it was Eric Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
and then from Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins. That's where I was, and then Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza, Jay
Joe
Shetty,
Joe House,
Lewis Howes.
Lewis House. Sorry. Sorry, bro. Lewis House.
And then the other guy that I just sent you too, that wrote the manifesto. I have that book.
Oh, I haven't.
We kept listening to that podcast over and over because it's so deep.
Yes,
everything.
But I haven't
explored him.
Take a dive into his book yet, but I am.
So I love that. The whole sort of concept of the conversation on why I wanted to bring it up is because we cannot do this alone. We have to have tools in place for us to stay grounded in our practice, but also the value of growth in yourself and transformation comes from that continuous learning and how to practice that. I read a post because we're part of this yoga community Facebook post, and it's comedic to me to listen to the comments. I never really read comments, but it challenged me in my thoughts. Like, are we doing continual education? Not as an organization as our studio is, but we are going to be offering that. That's teacher training, customer service training.
We're offering that.
I said, we want to offer, we're going to offer that. I said, we want to. I'm saying, how does the teacher continue to learn, right? And I think I love that that's the era that we're in, because now I'm seeing the fruits of the labor, because now I'm regurgitating that to my students, to my friends, but it's sinking in and I'm becoming the vessel to transfer energy in that same sense. Do you feel like that?
Well, I believe all instructors feel like that. And now that I feel that we're at a certain level in life, that energy is being shown to the world even more, because being of age and also connected and being mindful, now that energy is being shown to the world through us, which now goes to another generation. So to answer your question, yes.
That's great.
My first experience at B12 Yoga, it was very fruitful in the community. I really enjoyed the fact that it was tailored to Latinas, and I had a great time. I loved the sound bath. That was my favorite part. I stay 10 toes down by attending classes like these, training with my trainer, really just immersing myself in the fitness world. That's what keeps me sane.
Those tools that you were just talking about help with us shifting into the 11 years, because there are times, like Nipsey Hussle said, I've been through all emotions to get here.
I love that
quote. I've been through all emotions. And, to lie to the audience to say that we have not been through it within the 11 years would do this story no justice. So with us being here 11 years, 10 years, 10 toes down, 11 years now, us being a vessel in the city. What did the gentleman just say to you? We only have one location. We have our footprint in quite a bit. But a gentleman just came to the studio and said, I Googled you guys and we were the top 5 yoga studios in the city. Can I get a hand clap?
No, Eric Thomas said, I'm coming for you, Tony Robbins.
I wouldn't say it like that.
But you know what I'm referencing, yes, where Eric Thomas said,
exactly
that lit my belly on fire, because
let them
you
drop
going
you
for
in
the
the
number
jungle.
one spot.
Let them drop me in the jungle.
That's the Otis, right? Looking at our ego and say, ooh, we're coming for the number one spot.
A friend of mine said, we're 4 Oak Cliff, Taylor Tones. Shout out Taylor.
Doing amazing work, by the way, 4 Oak Cliff in South Dallas.
He said, ooh, if I was a rapper,
stun on him.
He said, stun on him. He said, I'll be stunned on him.
So in his own industry, what the work that he's doing, he's speaking to the people saying, I'm going to give you that reference. Like, if I was a rapper, I'd be stunting on y'all. Because he is killing the game on how he's transforming South Oak Cliff and the resources, the growth, and he is fighting the fight. He has one of the biggest back to school festivals in the city, and I cannot wait to continue to support that man and that organization.
I would be stunting on them. Well, just to reference that, the 11 years, honestly, I walk around with my chest out, not in a negative way, but in a way shown to guests, the audience, customers, that we survived and we are like survivors and we're thriving. And so, we went through the survival time. Now we're thriving. So people starting to see more about the studio. They're starting to see more about yourself. Starting to see more about myself and our instructors. Well, this whole time we've been planning and programming our mind. That goes back to our tools. That goes back to us being okay with growth. Just like we stated at the beginning, this is a growth. I'm a growth person, and I believe our studio is a growth business. So we're growing, and I love it.
Well, I hope that everyone's growing. Every studio is growing. That's my intention and my hope for my people out there doing the work, because it's transformative and it takes a lot of energy to be in the health lifestyle, wellness lifestyle space, social change. I mean, it's a lot of work for the person to take that on. And I'm glad that we did. And I love that you said that we made it, right? And I used that reference this weekend at that wedding that said, I feel like we were Forrest Gump in that little Bubba Gump shrimp boat in the movie. If y'all seen it, where it was in a storm and they were the only boat that survived that hurricane. And I see us as, that's what V12 is. V12 stayed afloat, right? That same reference. And like the boats that stay afloat, right?
Boats that stay afloat. And the floor is like water.
Yes,
in the studio.
It is. Ooh, and water is a huge symbolic thing for us, because we're both water signs, Ade and I. But also, water is such a healing space, and to reference that when you're in the flow, it's just very iconic and very symbolic for us. If you ever step into V12 and see our floor, it's beautiful. It looks like you're on water, and I love that. So,
surf's up.
What's next, right? 11 years. How do we make 11-year the end of the next 5 months great? How do we end with a bang bang?
Well, continuing to grow, always be okay with the challenge, and we're setting challenges for ourselves in order to grow. So having a plan, within this plan, what does that look like? Continue education, just like you stated. Then teacher training. From there, also looking at different locations. Well, that doesn't mean just right away, but that also means like I'll be prepared when that presents itself. So that's where we sit within our growth. That's how I see it. And this is our little podcast cave, but in my man cave, I have all these things broke down into sectors. And so being able to see and touch those little small goals make me feel like I'm reaching my asanas in my yoga practice. Okay, come on now.
2 stars for Ade next to his name. I love it. My intention for us in the next 5 months would be to not only, I think we've done a great job of being a resource. I want to switch it up now. And I even spoke about this last night. I really want us to become a tool, because we're a resource for a lot, right? But when you're a tool, that's an advancement. That means we're giving someone what they need to push through the next thing. A resource is we're meeting them where they're at, right? So if we're looking at it, I'm saying to myself, I want us to be a tool for the next 5 months that opens, that builds, that actually provides an advancement to people. And whatever that space is, at your workplace with Workplace Fitco, I want to be a tool at your workplace. I want to be a tool in your community in Dallas. I want to speak about what we're doing and how we're transforming lives on the mat. But I also want to talk about the power of community, not because everybody's using that and we use community and that says free yoga, but that's not what that means anymore. And we're actually going to change the name of that because we want to have a little more intention on what we're doing. And when that happens, I think the way that we use our words, it matters. And I want to make sure that I'm intentional the last 5 months, and I'm putting those seeds down right now for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's my intention. And I'm sharing that out loud to hold myself accountable. And I'm willing to do whatever that takes to do that. And so I'm investing into
by any means necessary.
Yeah, but I'm also open. Have you noticed too? We've been doing a lot of collaboration with a lot of people.
Right. Shout out to all those people wanting to collaborate with us and do different things in the studio. We even went to Tulsa,
Yeah,
within this time, shout out to Joe
Be
and
Love
Hannah at
Studio.
Below Studio in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was magical. It was beautiful there, just to get to see and touch people who follow us,
Yeah,
all the way in Tulsa.
and then go to Black Wall Street.
Listen,
Incredible to take our daughters to go see that. It's just a blessing
I
to be able
teared
to
up.
experience
Y'all,
that.
I teared up, man. I mean, it was amazing to be in the environment. One, to teach yoga, then two, to go to Black Wall Street, basically
Established, and
established
they.
and grew the business of community and having their own ecosystem, and it was wiped out
Because it was highly successful, and it was really
right.
something that was not experienced by Blacks.
And that led us to being judgmental and harsh on other races and etc. from there. So it was great to go show my girls that, and you too. I was able to see it when I went before. I just didn't go to the museum because it wasn't built yet. And so to take them or you guys or we all go together to the museum, that was really amazing. Um, it was a lot,
Yeah,
but it was great to educate my kids and myself and you within that story. And so just also being in awareness of our environment through yoga, you know remember at the beginning we're speaking about higher self. So there I was able to be in that moment. So it was very special, to see that. So, if you ever get a chance to go to Tulsa, make sure you go to Be Love Studio. They show a lot of love, man. Go to Black Wall Street. I'll include some links at the bottom for both of those, and you'll be able to experience that. And I hope and wish that you do.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Black on the map.
Woo-wee! And so, that brings us back home to our collaborations here. So now we're beginning to do a lot of collaborations within the space. And so shout out to Kat, really
DJ
great
Cat Avila.
DJ Kat Avila, really great DJ. If you guys
Influencer, yeah.
can follow her, yeah, influencer. I mean, DJ is one thing. The influencer, she teaching us a whole bunch of stuff herself. What?
Yes.
All right. It's great to have allies too, and people that walk with us.
Right.
I love that. So
But we walk with them too. It's reciprocity, right? It's knowing no one's taking or giving. This is very communal, and I love that we don't have an ego when we step into the conversations about how do we work together in our studio. And once we did that, now people are coming because they're like, oh, we want to work there. We want to be a part of that space, not work here necessarily, but bring their brands to our space. They want to get involved with what we're doing here. Because when you walk into a space that feels like a home, it's a little different because there's already a sort of energy that precedes us, right? So you can walk in here and feel like, wow, this is cool. I feel like I can sit here and have a conversation about life in your lobby. Everyone can relate, and it just feels so good.
If those walls could talk. No, I mean, it's really great. It's nothing really bad. It's
this
just
guy here. This guy has to be funny about it.
No, if the walls could talk, they probably tell you like how many times we cried here and all these little things, because again, We experience all emotions in the studio.
Mhm.
So, when it's great to see and sit back, people speaking in our lobby and talking and getting to know each other, hugging, crying, go to dinner or lunch right after
Or
practice.
get married and
Yeah.
have babies.
We have two babies now.
Yes.
Two babies from the studio. What? That's amazing. So from there, now the collaboration. So we're looking forward to collaborate with um, different influencers or instructors, trainers, Zumba instructors, Pilates, you name it. Just all
Just
the way
healers
across
in
the
general
board.
too. Like if you're doing a private book club with and adding mindfulness, I mean, anything like that feels like you need a place that has good energy. It's in the heart of downtown Dallas, and we have free parking. I'll say that over and over. We have free parking. We want to invite you here, but not just to host your event. We want to know what you're doing so we can support you in big ways. Speaking of, I want to talk about the importance of showing up for the people, Ade, before we close this conversation.
Ooh, showing up.
Showing up.
How?
Whatever is required, right? So
how do you show up?
I really am now intentional of where I show up, because if I'm not mindful of that, then I can't show up for it. So I've been really good this past few months about rolling off boards, saying no, and saying yes to where I can be of impact and showing up, right? So even for friends, like you have taught me how to be a great friend. I've never in my life experienced a friend like you, that just, I mean, you just had a friend that recently got out of prison and you went and greeted him and brought him clothes and
oh my God,
like showing up like that, it's such a learned, like you can't teach people how to do it. It's in you on how you care so much about people. And I always used to say it's your fraternity that brought you to that. But I have a feeling like you were like that before your fraternity, and I don't know where you learned that. You might want to share, how did you learn how to be a good friend?
I don't know. I just started showing up for myself one day because I ain't have nobody else, and I just knew it. But I was 14 years old, so I just knew. Now, if somebody going through what I'm going through, or even just show up, I don't know what to say. A lot of times, I just show up.
And that's crazy. I'm going to bring this back to you guys from a spiritual perspective. Ade, when he was 14, had to show up for himself. When I was 14, I got pregnant. So we were experiencing this tremendous abandonment of ourselves, felt lonely, scary, the same emotions, never knew each other. I think we knew each other before we even were born here, but
soulmates.
But when I put that timeline, I look at when I was 14, I felt so alone. No one was there for me. Everyone was turning their back on me. They wanted me to have an abortion. They didn't want me to live it. I couldn't tell the fact they were ready to count me out. And just like you were ready to be counted out.
Man.
And so I think that's, people are like, how do y'all get along? People don't understand how we are so compatible because we look so different. And I take it back to Ade and I experienced life in tragedy and triumph our entire life without knowing each other at the same time, the same age. So that is why we are married and we're soulmates, because even though we look different, we act different. We are so alike in so many
ways.
She's
HR, y'all. Corporate, and I'm straight as hell.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love the energy that there's so many girls. I love getting to play the music and try. As soon as I walk in, I smell all the essential oils, the sage. I just feel like, you know what, I can leave all my problems at the door. And your energy, Veronica, is so amazing. I can feel it. And just honestly, I never really tried yoga before V12. I've tried a couple other classes. This one's definitely my favorite. I just feel like it's everything yoga is supposed to be. And just positive energy, and I release all stress and trauma, and I'm just the version of myself now before yoga is insane. It's true. 10 toes down by practicing every Monday. Like I need yoga at least once a week.
Back to showing up, I just started showing up. And so now when I show up, I know that's half the battle. And that's ultimately how I started to, you know, resonate with myself. And then, it leads into friendships. It leads into loyalty. It leads into so many other things. And people can't take that away from you. They can't take that.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that. And it started with showing up for myself. Then now taking it into being an adult, teaching my kids how to show up, and just passing it down to the next generation and continue to show up for myself. One thing I really wanted to hone in on is I don't teach a lot of yoga. And I started to ask myself why.
Mm-hmm.
Why
like going inward.
Yes, why do I feel like this is just, I get to a point where I'm feeling like, oh, this is just, if I teach so much, it's just a job. I'm not happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I pull myself back and teach here and there, I get to pour so much into it. And I found that out. And I knew when I was like, oh my God, that's why I like that. Why I'm like that is because now I felt, because I feel I sound repetitive. And then I'm like, oh, it's just it's within self. Let me say that. It's not the class or audience. Within myself is not pure.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I don't feel pure, then I feel that I'm like jumbling
on
my words.
You mean authentic.
I'm not authentic in the practice. Mm-hmm. In the practice, yes, I love it as a business because I'm a businessman. But being authentic in my practice, being pure in the practice, I can't teach it every day. I want to be able to leave my emotion and feelings in the class or the workshop and walk away. And then I'll gather that energy back up and then I'll do it again.
That's amazing that you said that. Last night, and I taught for National Latina Day. We were sitting in the lobby and I was having a conversation. My friends were telling me I need to accept who I am, right, as a healer. And I was telling them, when I go and teach, the way I receive the energy when I'm in that room is I feel the energy of the people giving to me. And I almost feel like it's spirit in the room and it's the energy is moving to me. And so I want to be in the room all the time because I'm not going it's like, whoa. And every time I'm in the room last night, I was like, thank you, God, for this. I mean, I was full of chills teaching because it was such, like, we were all floating and I didn't even play sound bath. It was just the music. I was taking them from when we were young, and the music, the genre, it was just a spiritual thing. And so I was receiving so much from that. But I get that at DFW. When I go teach there, I had a huge class yesterday. I had a great day yesterday. Like, it was a God pouring in me day. And I was in my zone and I could feel it. Now I really know when I'm in that zone, I feel lifted. I feel like I'm off the ground and I feel God is talking to me. I'm talking to God and I am just in there, just floating.
Right.
And so for me, when I do the SWAT guys, I mean, for me, it's it's because my lens is turned into that, right? My lens is like, what can I get at? What is God showing me today, kind of thing? And I use it in that modality, not taking away from yours. It's just my way of energy transfer, right? It's your way of transferring energy. And so for me, it's this, and it's beautiful because whenever you're out, I'm in. When I'm out, you're in. It's like we fill each other spaces. Whenever you're in a pocket, I'm in a different pocket. It's not good or bad. It's like we're just holding space for the thing to move.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it as either one is a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like you said, a space. I see it as a space, and in that space, like I noticed that I choose to say, hey, let me pull energy within and then exert it to the workshop, class, wherever, they will receive it. But one thing I noticed, that when the shaman's like, man, I can't do too much, it's just like sometimes it's like it drains me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that coming out of a class. And I don't know if I'm taking on the energy from the people,
or giving
like,
out, exerting
or
too much.
I'm giving them. I want to deplete my energy. I don't know if that's just a mental thing there, but I've been visiting that. I want to deplete the energy within touch, my words, and within their breath. And then I know they're going to leave there like, oh my God, because then I'm leaving there like, wow. If I leave there feeling like, I didn't touch
You
them.
left something on the
I
table.
left something there. So now when I'm teaching, it's so intentional. It's so intentional. It's not like, Vibradrosita 2 and then reverse
When you just said
warrior.
that, I just had like a wow moment, because this is personal, but you do that with your love, not love like sexually. Like you're very, like this is a grown up conversation. I just had a flashback right now, and I was trying to explain our chemistry together, when we're sexually connected. Like you give me all of you.
All of it.
I mean, I'm talking about in the most unconditional I've never experienced. That's probably why we're married, because we have this connection, but you leave it all there. It's intense. And so that's your personality. You have an intensity about you that when you're giving, if it's energy, I'll say energy.
Right.
And it goes in the anger too. Like if you're angry and someone hits your kid like that, you are giving everything in your might, right? So it's the same way. So your characteristic doesn't change. It's just the way the energy is transformed. Right. So you're saying in your practice, you're giving it all. And then for me, I see that now. Now, when you just said that, I'm like, oh, that is just how your spirit moves.
I'm gonna give it.
I'm the same way, but I receive. I'm like mine is like, and you see it. You said people see your light, Veronica, but it's like I'm more of a it's kind of like a different way. It's like you're like intent, and I love it. I mean, this is why I married you, right? The intensity of your love is on another level, and your loyalty is the same way. The intensity is on another level. For me, it's almost like I'm in a dance with people, and for you, it's like you are.
I think now that you're saying this,
don't you see that?
Yes, I see that. Me pouring out is like, man, that's what saved you. So I'm trying to save the world. I think that's what I just kind of realized.
I know, it's
right
like,
now
what?
when I thought
my
about
God, yeah.
It's like I'm trying. Oh, it saved me.
Why is it so intense?
Like why am I so intense, man? I'm trying to save the world, and by doing that, it's like I wish, man, I wish somebody taught me about breath. I wish somebody taught me about yoga, or just in general movement,
emotions, energy,
how to shift my emotion. I wish somebody taught me this. And now that the world is conscious of it, not I'm saying the world, but several people are conscious of it, then I'm more willing to pour into it. And I know that people are vulnerable in yoga. Mm-hmm. By mixing all that, I think that's what it is. And it really kind of just dawned onto me now that I know they're in a vulnerable place. And when they leave here, they can say, I can resort to my mother's breath. Because I will slap the out of somebody. That's going to get me fired. Can't do that. All right, let me go in this closet, close this door, take a deep breath. Come back out. Instead of, you're fired, gotta go, pack your stuff, security gonna take you out. That right there, I believe the breath the communication, the alignment, the focus, all that is being taught in a vulnerable moment. And so since they're in that moment, guess what I get to do?
Right.
And so that's why I just kind of put it all together as we sat here and talk.
I know, that's how I was looking at it. It was like, oh my God, that you do everything in that way. And that's how you receive your energy. Everyone has their own
no
way of giving
right or
and
wrong way.
receiving it. It's you. That's the beautiful part. And that's the beautiful part of that. But even above all of that, you get to choose it.
I get to choose it.
And me and Kat were talking about, we had a moon class. We went upstairs after the class and moon bathed and sat up there, and she was like, Veronica, you know what, we did a cacao experience. We need to have another conversation about that too. But she said, Veronica, I had an epiphany, and it was, I get to create my own life, how I feel, what I do, how to react. And isn't that beautiful? And she said, it's so like with this pure beginner's mind face, just like, wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought if someone said, we hear that all the time from teachers, you can do your dreams, but it sounds so cliche. And I've never had an example that said in my family, I'm going to do this. And then they did it. Like I never saw anyone say they were going to do something. And you know what I mean? So now I'm like, whoa, we get to create this.
When observing her, you get to see, when someone in class or somewhere, they catch that light bulb moment. Mm-hmm. And in yoga, one of the 8 limbs is enlightenment. Mm-hmm. You can't really explain it to someone. You have all these different limbs, but that enlightenment is the magical sense of our light bulb moment, or awareness, the understanding, consciousness, awareness, just being in the space and looking around and understanding, wow, I am in control. Mm-hmm. And
that's powerful.
Very powerful. And when that happens, I personally, I get to see it in the yoga class. And sometimes it's just with breath. When somebody like all crunched up and you just go touch them and they just melt. It's that one moment, or they end up crying, or after class they say, you know what, I am in control. That's that magical moment that we spend looking for so much.
And it's liberating. And you feel free as hell. You're like,
free.
Oh my gosh, I am not chained down to my circumstance, to my and I tell Ade, I don't know if you remember this, I'll always remember this conversation. You and I were driving to Fort Worth or Arlington. And I had my moment where I said, oh my God, I am not attached to anything. And I had told you, I'm not attached to you. And you took it like, well, I'm attached to you. You ain't going nowhere. Like you got into this, right? The fire part. And I was I couldn't explain it and articulate it way, but I had a moment where I'm like, I'm not attached to anything. And I felt liberated because I knew that no matter what happened, that I would have the right answers in myself to overcome anything without attachment. Because when attachment happens, then I become jealous or scared or fearful. And I start to live that if I don't have that, if someone takes it away, or if I don't, that attachment starts to put fear and ego into place.
Well, I'm attached, so I don't know what else to tell you.
That's not.
I completely, I understand what you're saying, but I am attached. But I understand. We have those moments. We said at the beginning of the podcast on that third person, you're third personing yourself. So as you do this, you're not attached to that. Because I'm here now, right. And you're there, but I'm really
here.
And
up here, we're one. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? So the physical part is just a plane. Now,
right there, and it's gonna ultimately become dust. So that third person, is that your soul? Ooh, that's deep.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm just giving you my opinion, right? Because you're asking. Or you're just
is that your okay? I mean, I was saying it being funny, but what is that? Is that the mind going in that direction, allowing you to be in the third person, or is that truly out of body experience?
It is out of body because you're not in the physical body. So anything that's not in physical form is out of body. Obviously, right? Just the science behind it. You're not here. It's energy, right?
On the observation.
I'm talking about this third 3D plane of life, of physicality, right? We're talking just physical sense. This is physical. Our meats, our body is physical, right?
I know that.
Okay. So I'm saying when that energy is leaving that, even the energy of thought, it's not in the physical body. So I look at it as if this is my container that I'm in here, in this realm, right? In this life, I'm in this container of flesh. But it's not who my spiritual mechanism is a part of. It doesn't belong it's not in the flesh. The flesh only allows me to experience the emotion of living.
How the flesh only lets you experience the emotion of living. Mm-hmm. So my question to you then, do you experience the emotion of living without flesh?
No.
So
you don't need the emotion.
Then how do you see yourself in third person?
Because it's the spiritual side of, it's like, this is what I envision. I know it sounds really crazy. Energy, it's no form. It's just energy, like waves, like a phone, right? There's waves that we can't see here, right? So it's a frequency of energy.
Sound, light.
Yes, everything, right? So I see that as we are a frequency of energy, and that comes in this physical form to experience emotion, to be able to advance that physical frequency.
So that physical energy has possessed the physical form to experience the world.
Because I feel like the emotion and the experience of the world takes the frequency even higher.
Because your soul weighs 3 grams. They studied it. Mm-hmm. So if your soul leaves your body, that's energy, you're saying. But can that soul experience emotion then?
Outside of physical form, no. Because it's the purest form of love. There's only one energy, and that's love. That's united in one. There's no attachment. There's no without. There's no anything. It just is.
Where'd you get this from?
That's what I believe. Actually, I've been studying a lot about it. Well, I'm giving you my truth. I just feel like when you start to find whatever that is, if that's my explanation of soul and consciousness in life.
I just wanted to ask, because I asked different people.
Well, hold on, can I finish my conversation? That's what I do in my classes. Just like everyone brings what they believe in whatever they're doing. Your beliefs are showing up at work. My beliefs are showing up in my practice. So if I feel like we can reach this higher level of thinking, this higher level of energy, then when I teach and I'm instilling that I'm operating from my beliefs, right? I try to have an open mind with that. And sometimes it is what it is. But when it comes to me, my job and my purity of my authenticity and my practice is to go ahead and teach from that point of authenticity, because I can leave everything out there and I can reciprocate that energy. So just like I go to another teacher and maybe that teacher believes in the grass is God, they're going to teach with that perspective, right? So when you choose your practice, it's going to align with what you are doing and what you believe, only if you come with an open mind and an open heart to receive it. So you got to think about all those things that are happening when you're in class, in the boardroom, at home, because my beliefs also lead into our relationship, right? And I changed that because I'm
got to watch those values.
But I changed a lot of my values have shifted with my age, my experience, and with life. Because if I lived off what my parents told me, if you lived off what your mama was telling you all the time, you know what I mean? Like belief system, like you're like, no, that's not right.
And that's why I asked you the specific question. I wanted to hear your explanation from going into the energy soul. I just wanted to hear the explanation of that, because then yes, your belief systems, because you were raised Catholic. Mm-hmm. So being raised Catholic, you're literally fighting against the belief system.
Right.
So how did you change that belief system? Where did that happen for you?
Well, that was an experience. I got married in the Catholic Church, and my grandmother said I could not get divorced, and I was in a bad marriage that was not something that was good. It was toxic for me and harmful. And when I said I didn't want to be a part of that marriage anymore, my grandmother said the church will not accept you and you can no longer be Catholic. And that was my break. The bone broke. That was it. So that I said, do I pick me and what I believe in my spirit and my well-being, or do I let this church tell me that I have to stay in this situation? And that's when I challenged the church and I separated myself. So that was a soul break, right? Same thing. But even listening to Joe Dispenza, and he talks about if we continue to believe the same things we always believe, we're going to still be the same person tomorrow. If I want to be a different person tomorrow, then I have to change my beliefs to reflect that person that I want to become and be. So I have to start acting in that belief that for the future me, not for the me right now.
So even though you did that, within that, do you still have the beliefs of Catholicism within your beliefs?
I respect it. I have reverence for it. There's a difference. I respect and have reverence for it. And I adopted the rituals that don't belong to the religion. So for me, I separated religion from the rituals that were more, for me, they were more indigenous. And when the minute I did that, it started to reveal more indigenous rituals. I started going to Mexico more. I started to learn about the culture. It has nothing to do with religion.
Okay.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm not attacking you. This is him thinking I'm talking to you. I'm just stating my feelings about it. I'm really passionate about rituals. And that's why even in my classes, I use that word and people are like, ooh, ritual. Like there's a stigma related to it too, because they think it's not of God, or whatever, but that's just misinformation. A ritual is, if you look at the definition of that, right, it's just something you practice all the time.
Continuous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to normalize that so people can develop their own rituals. And what that means, you have a ritual every morning. What is your ritual? That's the same thing.
Okay.
No, anyway, that's what I'm stating. That's my part of it, right?
I hear you. I'm just listening.
I love that we're having the conversation because I'm passionate.
Way to get into your programming, how
Mm-hmm.
you're programming, how you're programmed, and not just you, but when you're teaching or when someone who's listening is in a teaching moment, really being conscious of how you are programmed and how you reprogramming yourself. There is the alignment there. So that's why I asked those certain questions, because within studying and reading different religions and rituals and traditions, when I start to dive in more through individuals, I want to know, like, hey, when did this happen? Like, for instance, I have an aunt, she was a Christian, and then one day she switched over and became Muslim. And so, that's the religion. But me personally, having my experience, I get to come with the open mind, because I don't see it as just the religion. I see it as an outline that all cultures follow, and they have their own rituals with it, but we all fall in that same outline. That outline bleeds into all cultures. And so, with that perspective, I start to ask people when I see, going back and forth within, or questioning the religion for as programming. And that's why I did that.
What are the takeaways from our conversation for our audience to say, we're not just entertaining you, we're giving you tools and resources to think about, to hopefully ensure that you're 10 toes down and grounded in whatever it is that you're doing. Like, how does that, what we're saying, resonate with you? I'm asking you, our listeners, to question that. Like, does this poke you? Do you have trauma? Did we say something that made you have a provocative thought? Or maybe it's like, I didn't think about it like that. Like, how does this transform for them? What's your checkout with that? Like, what do you hope that they get out of this conversation, and any advice to these people listening?
Well, my Jerry Springer, in conclusion, ultimately, how are you showing up for yourself? And for showing up, where can you go from there? we spoke about, being available as a friend, loyal. Those are some of the values that I started to possess at a young age. You know, going on vacation at the age of 14, gang banging, understanding that, education was there for me. And I knew that, my family possessed that characteristic. So I had to grab all those things. So showing up, understand that I'm a growth company. So I continue to grow. Or what are you doing within self? You're doing one podcast, doing another
Yeah.
podcast.
So great. Last two. How are you sharing your energy? We talked about how we share energy, how we receive our energy. That's another takeaway. I heard Ade talk about how it drains him sometimes, like checking in with yourself and understanding yourself on, so that way you know when you're sharing and when you're taking or giving, and then find the happy place in the middle, right? So how do I shift that? How, am I giving too much here? Am I taking away? Am I replenishing myself and filling my cup? And I feel like that's a great nugget to share and for people to kind of go and reflect on from this class.
Right below
from
in
this
the
class,
comments.
not a class.
Right below in
We gotta
the
head out.
comments, and share, how are you showing up for yourself, or journal tonight, something of that nature. Listen, remember that you're worthy, you're loved, you're supported, and that you are able. Always be 10 toes down. Always stay consistent. Always be loyal to yourself and love on yourself. My name is Ade.
And Veronica.
Peace up. Namaste down.